Oh, farts. Old farts. Two old farts. Steve and Dave. Sometimes you find a diamond in the rough. Not this time, though. This is just rough. Two old farts. There is no better waste of time. Two guys. Two old guys. A lot of BS and more drivel than you can shake a stick at. Steve and Dave. God help us.
That God's going to help us. As I said the other day, I just need to know which one. I got to make sure I pray to the right one. But that's our intro just for us. Yeah. But we have a special intro, I should say, not introduction. I guess introduction from this Noosh.
You can say whatever you like, Steve. Nobody's listening.
All right, I got lots of things that I would like to say. So, how much wood could a woodchucker chuck if a woodchucker chuck could? Never mind. Anyway, so do we have Noosh?
Well, obviously, you're wearing. Before we go into any other sort of wood trip, you're obviously wearing a T-shirt for a statement piece.
Steve doing Steve things.
That's what it says. I thought it said Steve Dong or something, but there you go.
Wow, that's my porno shirt. Yes, when I wear my porno shirt, that's all. That's a whole nother podcast that we have. Yes, that we don't talk about.
Steve, well, what I'm looking at the moment, it looks like Steve Bong.
Steve doing.
Steve doing Bong. Yeah.
Steve doing Steve things, which I'm not sure what that means, but it was a gift, so I wear it. So I figured I'm trying to style up the show with my fashion sense.
Yeah. I've tried to survive the cold.
Yes, I see that. You got a little like ascot scarf thing going on there. Very dapper.
Yeah, well, like I said to you before, I'm stuck at the top. I'm not stuck at the top. I choose to work in this little room right at the top of the house. It's on the north side, so it doesn't get any sunshine. It's great in the summer, and
bad in winter.
When it's this sort of temperature with the prices of electricity, it's cold.
So a question though, because Miss Noosh is going to be joining us here in a second after her special intro that you made for her.
Yeah.
My question: do you have your pussies with you today?
I do indeed. Yeah.
You have your pussies. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. So you people that are on the podcast, not the YouTube, we have to apologize. You can't see David's pussies. But if you happen to watch the video, you can see all of David's pussies, and they are phenomenal.
Because every time Noosh comes on, I want to be all cuddly, so I cuddle myself up in the special pussy blankets.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Which I think we should be doing two old farts pussy blankets. To be honest,
I'm just thinking we should just two old farts and pussies. So, but that's just me. So I think before the show takes another wrong turn, would you like to? Can we play Noosh's intro and then bring her in? And see
because I thought she's become such an important part of our Friday afternoons.
Yes.
Or whenever this comes out. But for us, for me, it's Friday afternoon. For you guys, Friday mornings. And I thought, well, it'd be pretty good because it's she does her bit, and we're trying to promote the human fabric moving forward next year. So Have a little look at this.
All right. I like that. We got to bring her in now. That's her intro, I guess, for 2023.
Well, I didn't run it. I asked everyone who was important, i.e., me.
Okay, well, that's because you really have to. Who counts after that? So wait, there she is. So Miss Noosh, what did you think of your intro?
I mean,
did you like that, Noosh?
That was so nice. Yeah. And the thing is, I noticed, who did I tell it to the other day? Because since I've been doing this with you, I'm reviewing sometimes some of the bits of my video to see, because at the end of the day, you don't really know how you sound or how you look like.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you look as lovely as ever. Don't worry about it.
But that was so nice. Thank you.
Yeah, David and I look like this with lots of mirrors and makeup. So
Yeah.
in person, it's scary. I've seen us both in person. Oh my God, it's scary. I've seen me naked. It's very scary. I have a mirror in my bedroom that says, I literally have a mirror in our bedroom that says objects in the mirror may actually appear larger than they are in real life. So just so, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah, I just try to warn the wife. You know how it goes. She's like a Valium, though. You're like on our wedding night. She goes, "Are you thrilled?" I mean, it's one of those things. You know what I'm saying? Jewish foreplay. 4 hours of begging, 10 seconds of sex. You buy him a diamond ring, and you're done. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bibbidi bobbidi boop.
Well,
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, but it sounds more like wham bam thank you, ma'am, to me. But anyway.
Wow. Wow, that is her. And who's
Jimmy-
the guy with the pussy blanket? That's all I can say.
Hey, look, I think well, that deserves another little run through. So I'm just going to do another little
Okay.
intro, because I like it
Is this a
myself.
different one? Is this a
No,
different
it's the same one.
for Noosh?
Yeah.
So we're doing it again.
Yeah, should we do it just one more time? Then, and then that's it.
You liked it that much. Okay, everybody. I apologize for the people on the podcast who can't actually see or hear anything. So 15 seconds of silence, kind of. And then the people on YouTube, you can watch this again, and then we'll get into the news.
Let us pray.
Yeah.
Let us pray.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Go. I like that.
Music. Who picked the music?
David.
I picked the music.
Yeah, David picks music. David
Right.
told us on a show the other day that he's into music. And we said, "Who are you into?" And he says, "I'm into all the latest people, Chopin, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, Brahms." I'm like, "Oh, so David's just getting out of the 14, 15, 1600s. He's about to get into the 1700s. We're very excited for the old-fashioned minuets and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see his music choices."
Well, you know, if you were to listen to everybody complains about my choice
Your
of
music, yes,
so
I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'll help you next time.
Well, that's a nice way of
but-
saying I like what you've done. However,
You know,
Yeah,
I was
the thing-
actually
the
I
thing
wanted
is-
to tell you a little bit yesterday for the human fabric, and I guess it's probably very easy, but to put a music with the video. How do you do
Right.
that? I know how to do it on Instagram. I finally found.
we could talk about that off air because I'm sure the people
yeah.
that are here for your
Absolutely.
poetry could care
And they're
less
probably
about
all
how
laughing
David
at me.
does
They're
it.
like, she does not know how to put music on a video. Ha ha.
Hey, don't worry. The only reason I know how to do it is because to your point on Instagram, I can just click a button, choose a song, and it's done. But on TikTok, and David is the technological genius of Two Old Farts. That's not saying much, but he is the technological genius.
That really
Yes.
is not saying very much
That's right.
at all.
I know. Oh,
So,
she's putting her hat on.
My little Christmas hat. Up. All right.
Wow.
Hello now.
Ooh.
So today we have on the menu a few things. Well, very few things that I wrote actually, because I figured since it's Christmas time, how about we read some? I mean, not really Christmas stories, but I wanted to do a game with you. I have a whole list of Christmas stories that I'm going to give you, and you need to pick your favorite one and tell me a little bit what it is about. But first,
yes,
drum roll.
Ooh, a drum roll. We don't have a drum roll sound, do we?
Start with a secret life of color.
Oh, I love this. Okay, what color are we going to discuss today?
What color are we going to do?
You tell us. I'm a big purple guy, so anything purple is good for me.
Okay, so I'm going to pick purple, and then in the purple,
Yes,
David, my dear, I am going to give you.
The
So
color
I think
purple.
we did purple,
Yes, we did.
the main one, but after that we have Tyrian purple, Archil, magenta, mauve, heliotrope, or violet. So David,
What would you
Well,
like?
I think mauve actually, because that's an interesting thing, because that is an artificial color.
mauve. I
So
like
that's-
the sound of mauve.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, let's see. It's like move.
Well, maybe we should put some mauve music under your next video.
Ooh.
Oh,
So,
we could do that. All right.
All right.
Let's
we
just
go.
go ideas. Move. Malaria. Well, that's a good start.
Nice way to start. David, we remember malaria, right? Back in the day, when we were when we were invading Cuba. It was a wonderful thing back in the 13th century. It's great.
It
Thanks for
was.
bringing
It was. I'm still waiting for Bill Gates to to get it all fixed.
Sure.
So we don't have it
Yes, we're
anymore.
still waiting to get cured. Still. All right.
Yeah.
We won't make
All
fun
right.
of malaria.
Back to malaria. Malaria was rife in Europe during the 18th and 19th centuries. In the 17th. Well, there you go, both of you.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. In the 1940s, Horace Walpole wrote, with a preoccupation typical of a interesting word. How do you pronounce this?
David, pay attention. Oh, yeah, right. We can't see that word. Are
Yes,
you kidding?
you can.
David, can you see that word?
Beleaguered. Beleaguered?
Yeah,
Beleaguered?
Big
What
liver.
is
Yeah.
What does that
It's
mean?
a word. We'll have to look it up later.
Let's just say big liver. Let's see.
Big liver. Yeah.
Wait, maybe if I read the sentence, it'll make sense. Walpole wrote with the preoccupation typical of a beleaguered tourist.
Oh, beleaguered.
Beleaguered. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Of a horrid thing called the malaria that comes to Rome every summer and kills one. The word malaria is a corruption of the Italian for bad air, as it was believed the disease was airborne. The connection with mosquitoes wasn't established until later. Half of the patients admitted to St. Thomas Hospital in London in 1853 were diagnosed with ague or malarial fevers. Quinine, the only known treatment, was extracted from the bark of a particular South American tree and cost a fortune. The East India Company spent around $123,000 on it annually. Wow. The financial incentives for synthesizing quinine were obvious. It was partly these and partly a love of chemistry for its own sake that drove an 18-year-old scientist to spend his holidays holed up in a makeshift laboratory of his father's East London attic, trying to synthesize quinine from coal tar. Today, William Perkin is celebrated as one of the heroes of modern science. It is not of quinine, which he never did manage to produce, but because of a rich seam of chemistry that opened up when he accidentally, like always, happened upon a particular shade of purple, mauve.
Ooh.
In the first few months of 1856, Perkins' experiments with coal tar, the abundant oily black byproduct of gas lighting, resulted in a reddish powder, which, when further experimented on, produced not colorless quinine, but a bright purple liquid. Most chemists would have thrown this errant slop away. Perkin, who had once dreamed of being an artist, dipped a piece of silk into his beaker and realized that he had made a light and washproof dye. Sensing its commercial possibilities, he initially named his creation after the exclusive color that had been extracted from mollusks by the ancient Greeks and Byzantine. Oh, I think we read about that color a few weeks ago.
Yeah, people won't remember.
I'm just gonna make Tyrian purple. There you go. They made it from mollusk again. Soon after, however, he adopted instead the French name of the mallow plant mauve, whose blooms are a similar hue. It was not an immediate success. Dyers used to working with plant and animal extracts were dubious of the newfangled chemical. It was also expensive to make. It took 100 pounds of coal to produce just 10 ounces of mauve. Thankfully for Perkin and for us, without his perseverance, it is possible that coal tar might have been abandoned before the discovery of modern commonplaces, including hair dyes chemotherapy, saccharine, and artificial musk, the spoiled, extravagant wife of Napoleon III, Empress Eugenie, decided that the color mauve precisely matched her eyes. Very doubtful. The Illustrated London News notified its readers of the world's most fashionable woman's preference for Perkins purple in 1857. Queen Victoria took note and chose to wear a rich mauve velvet dress trimmed with 3 rows of lace with a matching petticoat. Mauve and silver moiré antique trimmed with a deep flounce of Honiton lace. To her daughter's marriage to Prince Frederick William in January 1858. By August 1859, Punch declared that London was in the grip of the mauve measles. A 21-year-old Perkin had become a rich and well-respected man. Soon enough, however, mauve went into that most Victorian of things, a decline. Overconsumption, as well as the continuing loyalty of an older generation, meant that the color soon became shorthand for a particular kind of aging lady. Never trust a woman who wears mauve, Oscar Wilde declared in The Portrait of Dorian Gray, published in 1891. It always means they have a history. Our current queen, perhaps, bearing this stigma in mind, vetoed blooms of this color in palace flower arrangements. More carefree characters, though, have refused to be put off. Neil Monroe Roger, the dandy couturier, who invented capri pants and was known to everyone by his childhood nickname of Bunny, my nickname too, was partial to what he liked to call menopausal mauve. It had become such a signature that at the Amethyst Ball he threw to celebrate his 70th birthday, he wore it from egret feather top to the glimmering catsuit toe.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
That was a beauty, as we say here at the farm. So, and it's good that she's in the time frame, David, that we were still young. You know, the 1800s.
Yeah,
You
it's
remember the back in the
this
day.
whole mauve thing was absolutely massive, and you see it in
Yeah.
furnishing. If you go to houses which are, you know, in the UK, which are kept in the Victorian style,
Yeah.
there's just mauve everywhere. So it's quite.
And sometimes you make them move out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah, you do, and then of course in the 1970s it all came back again. Oh,
That's true.
no.
There you go.
it's a tricky color though. I can see. I mean, we have a Victorian home, and I can see a mauve something there, but just because it's a Victorian home, like maybe a mauve. I don't know, an ottoman, a velvet ottoman could do it, but yeah, otherwise mauve is tricky.
Yes.
I didn't even know that whole history, but
now we know. Look at what we've learned on the human fabric with Noosh. There you go.
Yeah.
Noosh's bits. What else do you have for us, Noosh bits?
The Noosh bits. The Noosh bits. Da, da, da. Oh, all right. So again, with my lovely book,
the Book of Misinformation. Yes, sure.
Oh, easy there, misinformation. So I want to translate you the story that I have been telling over and over for 20 years that is absolutely untrue. This is the story that I verified online when I first mentioned that book, and I told you that this basically clashed my whole universe. It's about of ants. So I'll be translating this for you, just for starters.
Okay.
All right. Ants. Ants are on our planet for hundreds of millions of years, and humans merely 3 millions. Since 100 million years, ants built cities more and more important until they erected domes that had dozens of millions of people with it. But if we examine their options, for now, they appear for us very exotic. First, most of ants do not have a sex. Only a very small, we'll wait for that. Only a very small part of the population reproduce itself. the princesses and the princes.
Okay.
Ces derniers mourront de plaisir. Oh, those dying of pleasure when they consume, I mean, not consume, when they do the nuptial act, when they have sex, the city then will soon count almost no male. There is then only a queen to stay there and make eggs. Being informed constantly of the needs of the city, she gives exactly the needed quantity and quality of individuals, their a necessity for their society. Therefore, everybody is born with a function that is defined in advance. There is no chômage. How do you say chômage? There is no, when people don't work. Oh, there is no unemployment. There is no misery. There is no individual property. There is no police. And neither there is hierarchy or political power. This is a republic of ideas. Whatever your age and your function, everyone can propose an idea to the whole of the city. Then, depending on the quality of the idea and the information, it will be either applied or not. Ants also have agriculture in the city. They grow mushrooms. They know élevage. L'élevage, well, when you have cows, how do you call that?
Moo? Cow?
No.
Farm?
Yeah, there you go. They also farm. They farm very tiny pucerons. So you have those in roses. They're really tiny little insects.
Petals? Oh, petals.
No, like tiny insects that you see in gardens that nobody likes, that we need to get rid of. Anyway,
like green fly.
Pested.
Some kind of pests. So they farm those. They fabricate tools, telle la navette qui leur permet de coudre des feuilles. As the navette, I don't know how to call it, but such as this thing that helps them sew leaves with each other.
All right.
Remember, I've been telling this to everybody.
Okay.
And they know notions of chemistry because they use their antibiotic saliva to heal the babies and some acidity to attack their enemies.
Sure.
And agriculture, the city of ants also manages to build solariums and caves and a royal suite with mushrooms all around it. We would be silly to believe, though, that that in the ant city everybody works. Actually, most of them is very lazy and either sleeps or just walks around at their leisure. 1/3 goes around with absolutely nonsensical occupations, even maybe being annoying for the others. For example, trying to build a tunnel that then will collapse another one. And then another third will be there to fix all the errors of the other ones and actually build the city. And at the end, it actually works very well. Ants make war, but during the battles, all the ants don't have to go to battle. But everybody is always worried of the collective success of the city. It's much more important than their personal success. When a city doesn't have any more food around, then she will move the whole people to another place. They will migrate to rebuild it somewhere else altogether. Therefore, there is an équilibre, a balance, and an équilibre, well, a balance that is built within the entity in nature, because she doesn't destruct anything that she does. She only contributes with the airing of the soil and the circulation of pollens. Ants, therefore, show a perfect example of social animal structure that has succeeded. They have colonized almost every biotope, well, every continent, from the desert to the North Pole. They survived to explosions like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And they seem to function without perturbing anything between them and in perfect symbiosis with the planet. So there you go. A third of artists, a third of fixers, and a third of warriors, with a queen in a nuptial suite with mushrooms and solariums and
So basically, it sounds like the Chinese government. Okay, got it. So answer the Chinese government. I totally understand it now.
Oh, no.
No, I thought it sounded like another new Netflix series, to be honest. Because
I know, right? I bet you. And you know what's funny? Someone from Netflix is going to watch this, and they're going to make a whole series about this, or another Jerry Seinfeld movie called Ants. And now they're going to do it to this book.
I thought Ants was a sort of, sort of, shall we say, a clandestine way of referring to the British royal family. But there you go.
Yeah, it could be. Lazy,
not doing
don't do anything. Yeah. Get paid for it. Yeah. Or a politician. I could be a politician too, I think. Yeah.
But so you see, little Mia, when I was about in what I believe was 16 years old, but it might have been 26, to be honest. I need to look.
It could go either way. So
yes, but there I was, enchanted by this story and preaching it around to people that we should look at ants more and create a wonderful society where everybody cares for the whole and does the right thing. And if artists, a third are artists that just make tunnels and break things and wander around, and it's fine. There are people that can take care of them. How is nice? How nice is this? How is nice? See, I'm even losing my language.
Right. And it's very good. And next week, English will be her next language. So very cool. That was fascinating to know about ants. So
next week, ants will be speaking English.
Next week we'll have ants. We'll have ants in our pants. Yeah.
Ooh, I like ants in my pants. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. Next week, Hilga's House of Pain is where I'm doing the show from. Go ahead.
So I want to show you
Well,
something.
red ants for you then, Stephen.
Yes,
I want
there
to
you
show
go.
Red ants in your pants.
Let me see.
Yes.
Do I have my phone? I have my phone, but I don't have a picture because it's on the other phone. So I did for one of the gifts. So most of my work is commissioned.
Right.
And one of the first commission that I got, I always propose 3 different projects so that they can pick one. And that lady fell in love with matching sweaters. So there are cashmere sweaters with embroidered a beautiful leather balloon with the little tip at the end, and then a woolen tail. You know, like you hold the balloon, so you can hold it at the end. Sure. So it was for her and for her two sons. So 3 different colors but white leather balloons. And I just found this today that just fell out of something. And I was supposed to send this to the people. So this is the mode d'emploi, and I'm gonna read it to you. But I just wanted to see, and I sewed it in. This is sewed with golden threads, if you can see.
Very pretty.
So, mode d'emploi, instruction to use. Bienvenue in the world of balloons. They are delighted to be a part of your family. As a new member, they each need a name to grow fond of you and to fly with you right by your side. They love long walks in nature, so grab their woolen tails and show them the world through your eyes. Isn't that nice?
That. That's very sweet.
They'll be so surprised.
I know. They're going to be so surprised. We're surprised.
Was that originally, have you written that originally in French or not?
Oh, no, that was in English.
That was in English, okay.
I can translate it to you in French if you'd like. If you fancy.
Yeah.
If you're fancy. All of a sudden, we became like a highbrow show. Would you fancy some French?
You know, last year, was it last year?
I hope
because
so.
I heard myself speaking English, and I don't like my American accent at all. So I kind of quit, obviously, because otherwise you would hear it. But I thought, how about if I train my brain to speak British?
Oh, my God.
What do you think? Maybe I can make a mix, like a noosh bits British bits, like a little bit here and a little bit there is the T's and the D's and the I's and the dots. Somebody told me. Maybe it's something else.
And the hiss. We hiss when we speak. Yeah, but about noise. A hiss noise. Everything's got a th in it somewhere.
And you have to drink your tea with your pinky up.
Oh, that I always do.
Okay,
my pinky's always up, Stephen. I know.
I've heard that about it. Yeah, just like a pinky. So
yeah.
So what Santa Claus stories do you want to read us today? So
before the Santa Claus story, speaking of balloons, I want to show you something that I'm starting. I started a few months ago. I was inspired by one of my friend artists that draws. It's called 24-Hour Woman, I think, on Instagram.
I like
but
the name right off the bat.
He
Yeah.
basically draws. I'm gonna actually show you right now. But he draws every day. Like he does not miss a day.
Okay.
A woman that
A
is
woman.
Yes, a woman doing some funky stuff.
Thank God David's got his pussy blanket with him.
24-Hour
So-
Woman. Let me see. Oh, I don't
This
have
is
it.
very well prepared. Ah, he doesn't have it. Can't show it.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
man.
We'll,
All right.
we'll come back to. We'll come back to
Oh,
him.
we'll
You
come,
know,
we'll come
you-
back to it. But basically,
Noosh, you can
So
have
he
him as a
inspired
guest on
me.
your show. You could
so
have him
he,
a guest
oh
on
my
your
God.
show.
He lives around here.
Oh my God, he could be
Yeah.
a guest on your show next one
Yeah.
week.
That would be great. That would be
There you
good.
Just
go.
go and ask him. Just go and ask
But
him.
so
Say, come on my show.
because I was inspired by him,
Mhm.
I then decided to do my own little one image a day.
Okay.
But since I needed
what's
to
this?
be more structured, so I posted it
Yep.
months ago, and I'm just going to show you the beginning because it's almost going to be New
Is this-
Year.
Okay.
Oh,
So
wow.
All right.
This is, speaking of balloons, this is going to be a balloon that is born out of its little egg. So it's going out little by little. In the beginning, crackling egg of everything, right, Stephen? This is
Very
the
cool.
beginning.
The
Everything
beginning.
started
Yeah.
from the balloon.
It started from somebody's balloon. So there you go. There you know.
I'm
So,
still
now,
getting, I'm
yes,
still
going
getting
back
over my eggs getting cracked, but there you go.
I
So,
know.
I'm
I'm
going
getting
to
excited.
read you
Someone's going to pay with my balloons.
I'm sorry. What? What are you
Never
talking
mind.
about?
We used to have this thing, this advertising campaign, I think in the 1960s in the UK, saying "Go to work on an egg." So there you go.
Go to work on an egg?
Go to work on an egg from the Egg Marketing Board, I think it was.
Yeah, because they weren't sure if it was the chicken or the egg that came first in the United Kingdom. They're still
Yeah.
debating that. Yeah,
Yeah.
So go to work on an egg instead of a chicken. I would have taken the chicken.
there you go.
Pump her up with a lot of I don't know.
And now, of course,
Yeah,
we're all stuffed. So there you go.
There you go.
So I wanted to do a little game with you because
Sure.
I probably had all those stories read to me when I grew up back in France in that lovely castle because we always had story time, but I don't remember any of them. So I'm
Okay.
going to give you the names of all those stories.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick one each, and then you're
Okay.
going to tell me a little bit why you like this story. But as a preamble to that, my dears, I'm going to read something from somebody that for some reason it's not printed his name, but it's a lovely introduction, if
Okay.
I may. All right.
Here we go.
Stories are not mere entertainment, but guides for living. Our ancestors passed stories along to the next generation so they could understand the world around them and survive in it. Storytelling was always an act of survival and preservation. And after a year of heartache, pandemic, political division, and isolation, we have a chance this Christmas to help our families survive and thrive in a special way. So I guess that was probably written last year. But it bears repeating. Oh, it bears recalling. It bears recalling that we owe this entire season to a chain of people who for thousands of years passed along a story. They told of the miraculous birth of the Christ child in Bethlehem and of the wonders surrounding it. Through all the commercialism, the glitter and the snowman, this story endures and captivates as it has for millennia. This year, I wrote a picture book called The Spider Who Saved Christmas. It retells a legend which fills an interesting gap in the Christmas story we thought we knew. It begins when Mary, Joseph, and the baby Jesus flee Herod's soldiers bound for Egypt. Taking refuge in a cave, they encounter a spider who, in her small way, protects her visitors as only she can. It is really about each of us doing our part to help those around us, no matter how insignificant it may seem, and finding hope in the darkest of circumstances. The reception this ancient legend has received is instructive. Judging by the emails and letters coming in, people are hungry for inspiration and a sense of wonder this year. Children love experiencing the story through the eyes of a spider, and that the story explains the origin of Christmas tinsel. Adults tell me that it fills them with hope. I think I understand the story's appeal. Though it is unlikely that any of us will be awakened by angels singing outside our windows or have three kings drop by to offer gifts, we can all relate to this family on the run. Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, like all of us, are anxious, worried about their survival, and against their will, seeking shelter from sudden death inside a cave. Sounds familiar? I don't know, maybe not really.
Sounds like China when they want to have babies and they want the government to know.
In their confusion, hope arrives in a way they never expected. I'm guessing the word. Parents and grandparents tell me they are making the book part of their Christmas traditions, reading it aloud to their children and grandchildren. Like our ancestors of old, they are using stories, the time-tested conveyors of truth, to help their descendants make sense of this confounding moment. There is power in the simple act of sharing a story. Studies have shown that children who are read to by any adult have less anxiety and are more literate and empathetic. As Megan Cox Gordon, who wrote The Enchanted Hour about reading stories aloud, observes, a miraculous alchemy takes place when one person reads to another, one that converts the ordinary stuff of life, a book, a voice, a place to sit, and a bit of time, into astonishing fuel for the heart, the mind, and the imagination. Stories have a way of speaking truth to us just when we need them. To gather generations around a story, particularly one that reverberates with our traditions, is critical in this time of separation. Anytime. Everyone feels the distance, the odd estrangement from friends and family. Whether in person or virtually, the act of sharing a story together can have a restorative effect on all of us, especially on children. Don't miss what could be the most important and long-lasting gift you can give your loved ones this Christmas. The gift of your time, your voice, your heart. You can share existing stories or tell your own, but the interaction with those you love will leave an enduring memory and perhaps a new Christmas story that will last long after the tree and even the tinsel are gone.
That was very nice. The fact that you want to give herpes to little kids. I think that's a very nice long life.
This
It's
is
like
what I
luggage. It never goes away. So
This is my Christmas gift to everybody, though.
Yes.
Yeah, subscribe to the show. You'll have a whole year of fun.
Exactly.
And you get to see Noosh's bits and the human fabric every Friday, soon to be live, where people can interact with her. This is going to be interesting.
More live than we already are, sort of live.
We'll actually be live. Like, we're not going to record it and put it up 3 hours later. We're going to actually do it live, and it'll be out there, and people can interact with her on the way to work.
Very exciting. Ooh, and you know what? I have a little tip. I'm sure out in the world there are people like me, and this is something that I've been telling to everybody, but somehow in the last 2 weeks, I did it again. Yes. I started rushing again. So everybody knows that time is relative to, well, basically each person, even though it tick-tick-tocks on the clock. Whatever you do affects the way that you sense time. And when you rush, it's like by magic, time goes twice as fast. So therefore, for the last 2 weeks, I had time to do nothing. So please, all of you lovely listeners, if you rush again today, just stop, because otherwise you'll have time for nothing.
There you go. And since you did it again, you and Britney Spears have a lot in common. Anyway, go ahead. So what's our little game that you would like David and I to our favorite? Do remember, I'm Jewish, so we don't know Christmas stories. We know how the Jews own everything. So,
you must know a few things. So
I know Christmas stories.
They just know how to collect. They know how to collect the rent at the hotel. That's all.
That's what we do. We run around. We own everything, apparently. According to Kanye West, we own everything and we control everything. So thank you, Kanye.
Isn't that the
Yeah,
gays
well,
now? You know,
obviously there
I
weren't
watched
any
a French
wasn't
comedian
any
yesterday.
rooms at the inn, of course. So
Well, listen, the guy comes with a donkey. What do you think? We're not stupid. Well, it's like you got to pay a
yeah,
deposit if you come in with a donkey. You go to the back of the building, and there you
yeah,
go.
Like
yeah. There you
donkeys.
go.
I feel the donkey's ears is probably one of the comfiest places to sleep, to take a nap. Can you see it? That fluffy fuzziness. Oh, one day.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Yes.
that'll happen to you
carefully.
that'll happen to you when you're 60.
Listen carefully, my little elves. All right. So we have Washington Irving, Christmas Eve.
Sure.
Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol.
What a name.
I know. Nice chap. Hans Christian Andersen, The Fir Tree.
Ooh, a fir tree.
Anton Chekhov, At Christmas Time. Or Henry, The Gift of the Magi. I don't know how you pronounce that. Magi. George VIII, The Set of Poe. Saki, Reginald Christmas Revel. Anne Enright, Here's to Love. And James Joyce, The Dead.
Well, I'm going for the dead right off the bat. However,
You know it?
yeah, right off the bat.
Sorry, because it sounds fun.
It
Right?
sounds like Christmas. It sounds like Christmas.
That's
Yes.
the dead
Just
sounds
after-
like
just-
Christmas. Yeah.
Just after you've eaten your Christmas dinner, everybody's sort
Yeah,
of
you're dead. It's like you just pass out.
Exactly.
Or you could go with the Christmas Carol, which of course is an old standard. But I think the dead. I would love to hear that. That just sounds fascinating.
No, but I know you. I'm not reading anything. I want you to tell me why it's your favorite story. It's too long.
I have no idea. I don't even know the story, but I just like the title right off the bat. Like I've read the Book of the Dead from the Egyptians, and I've read books about the Book of the Dead. So when I heard the Dead, I'm like, this got to be awesome. It sounds like an Edgar Allan Poe
I knew it.
poem.
I left the last one for you.
But you sound very grateful about the dead, Stephen.
Well, I like the Grateful Dead. Yeah, and that's it. And the Jerry Garcia ice cream all day long. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's too young to remember that.
Along with Ben, of course.
Yeah. The Grateful Dead was a band in the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Right? Fish. Isn't Fish related?
No, the Grateful Dead is a band. It's a band.
Yeah, but the Grateful Dead were right before Fish, and it's kind of the same genre.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they were right before the Fish. Now we need a music expert, and that's not us. Because David's still in the 17th century with music, so I can't.
I'm still suffering from the fact that we came out of the trees in the first place. But there you go.
Yeah, sure. Well, to answer, so the Christmas Carol is a very cute story because, of course, the
it's an interesting background to the Christmas Carol story. It is actually a product of industrialization.
Yes.
Because it was brought out right at the time where you could print things quite easily. That came out in parts, and so it's very much of its time. So interesting, a real marketing ploy.
It is a page turner.
Yeah,
it is a page turner.
You know what? The best remake of the Christmas story Carol thing is the Bill Murray movie Scrooge. That is one of the best remakes of that story.
What's the name of the movie?
Scrooge with Bill Murray. It's on Amazon. I'll promote Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime. It's Bill Murray. Movie's called Scrooge. That's probably one of the funniest, best movies remake of the Christmas Carol.
Noted.
There you go. So for that, I promoted
Bill
Bill Murray. Bill, in fact, Bill, if you're listening, because we know Bill's an avid listener. Bill, come on the show. Anyway,
you need to invite him. Invite me. I love him.
You should ask him not to be such a Scrooge and come on the show.
Do you remember that movie? What About Bob?
Yeah, I love What About Bob. No, but the movie the What About Bob was good. Here, we're going to talk about Bill Murray apparently now. What About Bob was a good movie. Caddyshack, of course, all-time favorite movie. Stripes is what made him the star he really is. Stripes. Stripes.
Stripes. My God, yes.
And then St. Vincent, which he just did a few years ago, was a great movie as well.
I don't know that
St. Vincent St. Vincent's a good movie. And then The Man Who Knew Too Little is a great movie as well. These are like The Man Who Knew Too Little came out the same weekend as Independence Day. And I was at the theater and I said, I'm going to see Independence Day. And I saw the sign for Bill Murray, blah, blah, blah. And by the time I went to go see it, it was out of the theater. And one night, it had to be either on HBO or Netflix. they came out, I said, "Oh, let's see what Bill Murray movies they have." I saw The Man Who Knew Too Little, and I've seen that movie 50 times, and it makes me laugh every time. It's just a great flick. So kudos to Mr. Murray.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah. So anything Bill Murray's in, I like to watch because I enjoy his
so
personality and it's just everything about him. I don't know what he's like as a person. I only hear good things, but his movies, love him. He's
we'll find out, Stephen, when he comes on the show.
I know. If all the Bill Murray friends are going to have to tell him to come on the show.
2023.
Hashtag Bill Murray.
I already hashtagged him. I don't think he has social media though, David. From what I understand, it's like he's hard to get a hold of. So we'll see.
Yeah, but maybe the people who work for him.
Okay,
we need Bill Murray and Jack Nicholson.
Nah, Jack Nicholson, I love him, but he's like me. Smoke cigars, make some money, call it a day. So.
All right. So wait, so that's one story.
Okay.
You both picked the same?
Yeah.
No, David.
No, I picked The Dead. I thought The Dead was very nice. I don't know what it's about. And we talked about The Christmas Carol, which is the movie Scrooged. And then the rest of them are just like, might as well read the old Townsend.
It's unfortunate, Stephen, because you're an absolute supporter of people reading books, and here you are talking about a movie based on what was
a book.
Still is the classic Christmas book.
I know. I've read the book though.
But it involves reading it. It involves reading it.
I know.
But
I've read the book.
I have the synopsis of The Dead.
Okay, where's the synopsis?
The Dead. Let me see it. A very bigger one here.
Basically, they stop breathing.
There you go.
I'm thinking.
Yes, the newspapers were right. Snow was general all over Ireland. Okay, this is an excerpt and then the synopsis.
Sure.
It was falling on every part of the dark central plain, on the treeless hills, falling softly upon the bog of Allen, and farther westward, softly falling into the dark, mutinous Shannon waves. It was falling too upon every part of the lonely churchyard, on the hill where Michael Ferry lay buried. It lay thickly drifted on the crooked crosses and headstones, on the spears of the little gate, on the barren thorns. His soul swooned slowly as he heard the snow falling faintly through the universe, and faintly falling, like the descent of their last end, upon all the living and the dead. So said during the
just the way she goes, and the dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be on everybody's answer phone. That one, isn't it? Welcome.
I can't wait. That sounds like a happy poem. I can't wait to read that one. Oh my god.
So said during the Christmas holidays, but shortly after New Year, probably on or around the 12th night in early January. The Dead is the longest short story in James Joyce's 1914 collection Dubliners, a series of tales about life in turn-of-the-century Dublin. It is also the last story in the collection. Nice ending.
Sure.
And focuses on a party attended by Gabriel Conroy and his wife. This is a short story where plot takes second place to character and detail, as Joyce adeptly builds a picture of Gabrielle's failed life, building to a revelation at the end of the story. Its closing descriptions of falling snow are Joyce at his very best and seem like a fine place to conclude this peak of the best short stories set at Christmas time. Well, that was part of the article, so perfect.
Nice, very nice. Noosh, you know what? It's almost time to say goodbye.
Exactly. It is almost time to say goodbye. And on that note, for goodbye, let me see. I am going to give you a little funny snippet of the Mister, and this is a true one.
Oh, okay. So, after that,
it's about this little thing that we'll be using all morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are.
Is it going to be in French then, Noosh? Because that sounds
maybe in French and then in English. It's very, very tiny.
We don't want it in English.
David's used to that.
I don't want it in English. We just want it in French because that's just how it should be. Yeah, that's how it should be. It's part of you. We need a bit of French.
I'm just going to give you a little bit of the English. It tells you why A4 are 21 by 29.7 centimeters.
Oh my god, that's like made my day.
Very important. And very all right.
I'm having a heart attack now. I know that. Oh my god. It's 20. It's A4. What happened to A5 and A3? Anyway.
Sorry, the mistress is about to read.
Let's go. Feuilles de papier. On se demande pourquoi les feuilles de papier courantes mesurent 21 sur 29,7 cm. Ces dimensions sont en fait un canon. Rapport de proportion entre plusieurs nombres découvert par Léonard de Vinci. Il recèle une propriété remarquable. Lorsqu'on plie une feuille de 21 sur 29,7 en deux, la longueur devient la largeur et on obtient toujours la même proportion entre les deux. On peut continuer à plier autant de fois que l'on voudra. La feuille de 21 sur 29,7 conservera toujours ce même rapport. C'est la seule proportion à posséder cette propriété.
Ooh, that sounds dirty and nice.
Now,
So before
like
we
I
leave,
say,
let me.
who would ever want that to be in English? You know, I mean, she's talking
Yeah,
about
really,
people.
nobody.
I
But
mean,
it's a really fun fact, though.
Two things before we go. One, let me just say this about that.
Two old farts. The best way to think as little as possible.
And that is that. And everybody,
Ding, ding, ding.
Noosh will be back. Noosh will be back next Friday. So that's the 23rd for all you people. So for all the Jews out there, Hanukkah's Sunday night, the first night, light the candle. So happy Hanukkah. And I'm not sure when Kwanzaa is. And for all you Gentiles who celebrate that false thing that we started for you, you're welcome. Yours will be after, and then we have the penguin, and there you go. And Noosh will be here next year. So next year, couple other things. Next year, Noosh will be live on her first Friday show. I think the 6th or 7th of January. So if you want to participate in the show, you can participate. And also, all our shows now are on Apple. Because everybody's saying, why aren't you on Apple? So we are now on every streaming platform on the planet. So you don't have to look at our pretty faces. You can just hear Noosh read and not have to look at us. Unless you want to look at Noosh and her penguin. And then there you go.
Yeah. Is that's the penguin's now is called flabbergasted, is he not?
What's his name? Flabbergaster? I like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the penguin.
Oh, he's very sweet. You know, he's made of alpaca. So I don't know with who he mated, but that was a good move.
I love it. Our shows get stranger and stranger.
Yeah, we have to know alpaca. We have to now alpaca everything in and
find
everybody.
There's a new quest. Find alpaca.
So, we have to make like hockey players and get the puck out of here.
There you go. Noosh, you have a wonderful beginning of Hanukkah. We will see you next Friday.
See you next Friday. Absolutely. Yes. Absolument.
There you go. David, it's always a pleasure. I'm going to see you in about 10 minutes for our other show. Noosh, we love you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the next week. And remember, don't rush. Don't do it again like Brittany. Just chill.
On ne rush pas. Namaste.
There you go. And that's it, guys. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Talk to you all soon.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.